A very good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television, your one-stop morning show for the biggest news stories from India and around the world. My name is Aishwarya Kapoor and here are the headlines. Delhi and Haryana Chief Ministers pledged to take steps to keep air pollution under check. NGT asks Delhi government to seize 10-year-old diesel taxis without delay. Ultra-clean BS6 grade fuel to be available in Delhi from April next year. Home Minister chairs a high-level review meeting of security situation in Jammu and Kashmir. Anti-militancy operation to intensify in the wake of recent attacks on security forces. India needs to focus on agriculture, says Vice President Venkaiah Naidu. Urges industry and farmers to adopt technology for sustainable growth. Inaugurates Andhra Pradesh AgTech Summit 2017. All Indians in Zimbabwe are safe, assures External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj. Military takes over power in the country. President Robert Mugabe under house arrest. And the first of the three-match Test series between India and Sri Lanka to begin at Eden Gardens in Kolkata. First Test match for the island nation in India since 2009. Our top stories from Gujarat, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi and BJP President Amit Shah met other party leaders in the capital on Wednesday to finalize the list of candidates for the Gujarat Assembly polls. Now, BJP's Central Election Committee meeting, chaired by Party President Amit Shah, was also attended by Gujarat Chief Minister Vijay Rupani. Gujarat's Deputy Chief Minister Nitin Patel, BJP State in charge Bhupender Yadav and State BJP President Jeetu Waghani were also present at the 2-hour-long meeting. While no names were announced after the meeting, Union Minister JP Nadda said that the list of candidates would be announced at an appropriate time. Remember, Gujarat votes in a two-phase election on 9th and 14th of December.
अधिकतर गुजरात की सीटों पर चर्चा हो चुकी है और चर्चा हुई। उचित समय पर निर्णय लेकर के आपको बताया जाएगा और इसलिए अभी उसकी सूची जारी नहीं हो रही है, लेकिन अधिकतर सीटों पर गुजरात के चुनाव के संदर्भ में चर्चा हो चुकी है और उचित समय पर उसका निर्णय लिया जाएगा।
Meanwhile, Himachal Congress has expelled 23 leaders for anti-party activities during the recent state assembly polls. The leaders have been expelled from primary membership of the party for 6 years. Former state NSUI President Yadupati Thakur was also expelled. Now, most of the leaders who faced action belong to Baijnath, Sarkaghat, Indora, Dharamshala, Nachan, Nalagarh and Shahpur constituencies. Assembly polls were held in the state, remember, on 9th of November and the counting of votes will take place on 18th of December. On to the other top story of the day. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal met with his Haryana counterpart on Wednesday, where both the leaders sketched a roadmap on tackling the ongoing air pollution issue in Delhi NCR and the neighbouring states. Now, both the leaders also agreed upon the need for action on many measures aimed at preventing its reoccurrence in the winter of 2018. Meanwhile, the air quality remained in the very poor category on Wednesday as well.
Chief Ministers of Delhi and Haryana pledged to take all necessary action to keep air pollution and smog under check in the national capital region. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal met his Haryana counterpart Manohar Lal Khattar in Chandigarh to discuss air pollution and the issue of stubble burning that is a major contributing factor.
कोई भी कदम उठाने की अगर जरूरत है, हम वो सभी कदम उठाने के लिए तैयार हैं और ये एक इंडिकेशन हमारी पूरी गवर्नमेंट्स को है, दोनों राज्यों की गवर्नमेंट्स को, कि वो इसको प्रदूषण के मामले को गंभीरता से इसके ऊपर कदम उठाएं।
भले ही अपनी अपनी स्टेट्स में हम सब कंसर्न हैं, लेकिन दिल्ली एक ऐसा क्षेत्र है जिसके ऊपर हम सब यानी कंसर्न उससे हैं कि दिल्ली देश की राजधानी है, तो इस नाते से स्मोग वहाँ न हो, इसका प्रयत्न हम सब मिलकर के करेंगे।
The practice of burning crop residue by farmers of the two states of Punjab and Haryana has been blamed for the toxic smog enveloping the entire Delhi NCR every winter. The levels of poisonous airborne particles known as PM2.5 have been off the charts in Delhi, often crossing 500.
As far as the visibility condition is concerned, we are observing some improvement in the visibility. That is mainly due to the passage of some western disturbance which has caused in the change in wind direction as well as speed.
सुबह मौसम क्लियर था, पर शाम को एकदम से इतनी स्मॉग या धुंध हो गई है कि अभी गले में खराश और आंखों में जलन काफी महसूस हो रही है और विजिबिलिटी भी बहुत कम है।
ये 5 बजे एकदम स्मोक आई है, धुंध नहीं आई है। इससे आंखें बड़ी जल रही हैं, आंखें भी नहीं खुल रही हैं, सांस लेनी बहुत मुश्किल हुई है।
Earlier, Delhi's Transport Minister Kailash Gehlot urged Lieutenant Governor Anil Baijal to reconsider the hiking and parking charges initiated as an attempt to tackle the alarming pollution levels, claiming that the move was proving to be counterproductive. The step was aimed at discouraging people from using personal vehicles and opt for public transport. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And in related news, in order to tackle the growing menace of air pollution, the Delhi government has advanced the introduction of BS6 grade petrol and diesel in the national capital by 2 years. The ultra-clean BS6 fuel will now be available in Delhi from April 2018 to give the national capital a respite from thick toxic smog. Fuel retailers have also been asked to examine the possibility of the introduction of BS6 auto fuels in the national capital regions from 1st of April 2019. Now, this includes the cities of Ghaziabad, Noida, Gurgaon and Faridabad. The deadline for the rest of the country is April 2020. Introduction of BS6 grade fuel is expected to help mitigate the problem of air pollution in Delhi and surrounding areas. Other news, the National Green Tribunal or the NGT has rapped the Amarnath Shrine Board for not providing proper infrastructural facilities to pilgrims travelling to the cave's shrine. Now, taking a strong exception over non-compliance of directions issued by the Supreme Court in 2012, the Green Panel asked the board what steps it has taken in all these years. Now, NGT Chairperson Justice Swatantra Kumar questioned the board as to why there are no proper facilities or toilets on the path leading to the shrine. He said it is unfair to have allowed commercial activities instead of providing basic infrastructural facilities to pilgrims. The tribunal ordered a setting up of a committee of experts headed by Additional Secretary of Ministry of Environment and Forests to submit an action plan on providing facilities to the pilgrims. It also directed the Amarnath Shrine Board to submit a status report by the first week of December on the compliance of the directions issued by the Apex Court in 2012. Now, eating out and home delivery from restaurant has become cheaper as new GST rates became applicable from Wednesday. As per the new rates, taxes on restaurant, irrespective of AC or non-AC, has been slashed to 5% from earlier 18%. A total of 178 items also became cheaper from Wednesday. That includes products like chocolates, toothpaste, shampoos and shaving creams. The rate cut was announced after the 23rd GST Council meet in Guwahati by Finance Minister Arun Jaitley last Friday. In the biggest GST rejig, the GST Council pruned tax rates of 178 items from the highest tax slab of 28%. Rates on 13 other items also were lowered from 18% to 12%, on 6 items from 18% to 5%, on 8 items from 12% to 5% and 6 items from 5% to zero tax slab. Consumer Affairs Minister Ramvilas Paswan has directed the state enforcement officials to ensure that the benefits are passed on to the consumers. President Ramnath Kovind will visit Punjab today, where he will present standards to the 223 Squadron and the 117 helicopter unit of the Indian Air Force at the Air Force Station in Adhampur. Later in the day, the President will visit Amritsar to pay tributes at the Jallianwala Bagh. He will also visit Harmandir Sahib and the Durgiana Temple in Amritsar before returning to the national capital. And earlier, President Ramnath Kovind attended the 17th Foundation Day celebrations in Jharkhand on Wednesday. The President paid a tribute to the state's heroes, including tribal leader Birsa Munda, whose birth anniversary is celebrated as the state's Foundation Day. He also inaugurated several welfare and developmental projects in the state. Now, addressing the event, the President expressed happiness that Jharkhand was performing well and had the second highest growth rate among the states. In the field of labour reforms, Jharkhand topped the list for the past 2 years.
मुझे ज्ञात हुआ है कि झारखंड सरकार शहीद ग्राम विकास योजना के अंतर्गत झारखंड के वीर शहीदों के गांवों का समग्र विकास कर रही है। यह एक बहुत ही सराहनीय पहल है।
And Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu inaugurated the Andhra Pradesh AgTech Summit 2017 in Visakhapatnam on Wednesday. Now, addressing the summit, the Vice President said that technology is the solution to most of the problems in the field of agriculture. Here are the details.
Agriculture plays a major role in strengthening the economy of the country, and we have to turn to technology to make not just the sector but also farmers flourish. Addressing the Andhra Pradesh AgTech Summit 2017 event, the Vice President Venkaiah Naidu said that the government's target to double the income of farmers by 2022 can be achieved only by adopting new technology.
We have to innovate. We have to work with farmers to infuse knowledge and technology. We must use technology to enhance productivity and see the economic benefits of increased production reach all the farmers. Workforce in agriculture sector is declining at the rate of approximately 2% every year.
The Vice President also stressed on the need to make technology available to the farmers. He said that farmers can enhance production and income by using techniques like soil testing, better seeds, weather forecasting, etc. Vice President Naidu urged farmers to adopt agriculture-based businesses like fisheries, dairy and forestry.
Technology can enable farmers to know the health of the soil. Technology can enable the farmer to know the price of the producers. Technology can also be useful for the person for transforming information and knowledge to the farmers. Because of poor access to irrigation and improved technology, we have to focus more on investing on infrastructure.
Focusing on food security, the Vice President said that there is a need to ensure it for the growing population of the country to rid the nation of malnutrition and hunger. Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu also addressed the gathering. The 3-day Agriculture Technology Summit is being organized by Andhra Pradesh government along with CII and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Several startup founders and technology experts are participating in the summit too. They will discuss innovative ideas, technologies and global best practices to push agricultural transformation in the state.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has suggested that the problems of agrarian sector can be wiped out with the help of technology. He appreciated the efforts of the Andhra Pradesh government and also said the convergence of technology with farming can not only attract the younger generation but also improve the income of the farmers. In Visakhapatnam, with cameraman Manoj, this is Ravindra Singh Shoran for Rajya Sabha TV.
And Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu will today inaugurate Adi Mahotsav in the national capital, a mega fortnight-long national tribal festival with a theme, a celebration of the spirit of a tribal culture, cuisine and commerce is being organized in the national capital. The inaugural function will be presided over by Minister of Tribal Affairs Jual Oram, Ministers of State for Tribal Affairs Jaswant Singh, Sumanbhai Bhabor and Sudarshan Bhagat will be present among other dignitaries on the occasion. The festival will continue till 30th of November. Over 480 tribal artisans from over 25 states are participating in the festival. And in Breakfast News, we'll take a very short break. We'll be back with more news. Stay tuned.
Hello and welcome. I'm Amritan Sharai and you're watching Law of the Land.
A lot of Australians are working even in Indian sports nowadays, so in the different teams are also having a lot of Australian support staff.
The sports is not something which you perform in the spur of the moment.
We are going to start the National Sports University from this year itself.
The government of India should consider inviting foreigners or people who are excellent in sports.
Watch Law of the Land on Rajya Sabha television.
The prolific British poet and story writer Joseph Rudyard Kipling, one of the first masters of short stories in English. In 1894 appeared his Jungle Book, which became a children's classic all over the world. Kim, the story of Kimball O'Hara and his adventures in the Himalayas, is perhaps his most felicitous work published. Set in and concerned with India he had come to know and love so well. In 1907, Kipling became the first English language writer to receive the Nobel Prize for Literature.
Welcome back after the break. The Supreme Court will consider whether its judgment on the application of creamy layer for reservation to SCs and STs categories in the promotion in government jobs needs to be revisited. A 5-judge constitution bench will examine the issue. It will consider whether the 2006 verdict was to be relooked or not. A 3-judge bench headed by Chief Justice Deepak Mishra said that the court will not go into the correctness of the verdict. The 2000 verdict had said that the creamy layer cannot be applied to the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes for promotions in government jobs, like 2 earlier verdicts of 1992 and 2005 dealing with the creamy layer in the OBC category. The court was hearing a batch of petitions that arose from a Bombay High Court order quashing 2 Maharashtra state government resolutions. Several other states have also approached the apex court on the issue. And Chief Justice of India, Deepak Mishra, has pushed for strengthening cyber laws in the country. Speaking at the International Conference on Cyber Law, the Chief Justice said that there is a need to concentrate on the emerging legal, policy and regulatory issues concerning cyberspace. He also said that the cyber world has been under constant change and hence it was imperative to discipline cyber law and cyber crime. Justice Mishra also highlighted the growing necessity for the judiciary to be up to date with the latest trends concerning cyberspace, as the issue would be coming before the judiciary and adjudication in the near future.
There has to be an international committee that's up to the executive. But as far as lawmaking is concerned, the Indian concept of constitutional sovereignty cannot be diluted.
And close to 22,000 doctors in Bengaluru will begin indefinite strike from today against proposed amendments to an act which will make hospitals accountable for medical negligence. Now alleging that the act was detrimental to the medical profession, the doctors affiliated to 5 medical bodies in the city have announced complete shutdown of outpatient services. However, emergency services, surgeries as well, dialysis and deliveries will be carried out by doctors. And doctors are opposing the amendments to the Karnataka Private Medical Establishments Act of 2007, which among others proposes 6 months to 3 years of jail term and a hefty penalty for medical negligence. Now, Pakistan violated ceasefire yet again in Jammu and Kashmir on Wednesday morning. Pakistani troops opened fire and shelled areas along the line of control in Poonch sector along the LOC using arms, automatics and mortars. The Pakistani firing was met with heavy retaliation from the Indian Army. Just 2 weeks back, on the 2nd of November, Pakistani Rangers had fired at a BSF patrol in the Samba sector, resulting in the death of a BSF constable. More news from Jammu and Kashmir. A review meeting of the security situation in the state of Jammu and Kashmir was held in Delhi on Wednesday. The high-level meeting was held in the wake of recent violence in the Kashmir Valley, where several security personnel were killed by militants. Now, Home Minister Rajnath Singh chaired the meeting that was attended also by Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and top officials of the Ministries of Home and Defence. Following the meeting, a directive was given to intensify anti-militancy operations in the state. Security forces have also been instructed to eliminate those who continue to indulge in violence. The security forces have stepped up offensive against the militants operating in the valley, even as the centre's representative Dineshwar Sharma initiated the dialogue process with his recent visit to the valley. According to the Jammu and Kashmir Police, 170 militants have been gunned down in the state this year. The security forces, however, have also suffered casualties. A top international story now. Zimbabwe's army has taken control of the country and said that it had President Robert Mugabe and his wife in custody, though it denies that it was a coup. Troops are stationed around the capital Harare. African Union, EU and the United Nations have all expressed concern over the situation in Zimbabwe. Meanwhile, Sushma Swaraj says that all Indians in that country were safe.
Unrest simmering in Zimbabwe, triggering speculation of a coup. Zimbabwe's military has seized control, placing leader Robert Mugabe under house arrest. In a televised statement, the army spokesperson denied a military takeover was underway, but the situation bore all hallmarks of a coup. The military was in control of state TV in Harare. A significant presence is at the city's international airport, and Mugabe has not been seen in public. African Union has demanded an immediate return to constitutional order.
La situation s'est développée alors que j'étais en voyage pour Washington. Nous avons suivi de très près l'évolution. Les militaires ont affirmé qu'il ne s'agit pas d'un coup d'État. Et vous savez, au niveau de l'Union africaine, nous sommes contre tout changement anticonstitutionnel.
A simmering succession battle in the ruling ZANU-PF party came to a head 2 weeks ago when Mugabe sacked Vice President Emerson Mnangagwa, who enjoys wide support in the military. Mugabe's decision fueled speculation he was preparing to anoint his wife, Grace, as his successor. Signs of a military intervention started showing late Tuesday. Armored vehicles were seen at several locations in Harare, including at the High Court and government buildings. And on Wednesday, the military declared on national television that it had temporarily taken control of the country to target criminals around Mugabe. Soldiers have secured Robert Mugabe International Airport and are checking vehicles and IDs. The Zimbabwean capital remains tense but calm despite the political uncertainty. Meanwhile, the Indian mission in Harare has said that the Indian community in the country was safe. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj tweeted there is no cause for concern. United Nations and EU have also appealed for calm.
You're right that the developments are a little bit confusing right now, and we're trying to get the details on this. The Secretary General has been monitoring the evolving situation in Zimbabwe. He appeals for calm, non-violence and restraint.
We are following very closely what is happening on the ground, underlining that the fundamental rights of all the citizens need to be respected and the constitutional order and democratic governance to be upheld. We call on all the relevant players to move from confrontation to dialogue with the aim to a peaceful resolution.
There has been no sign of any resistance to the military takeover within Zimbabwe. Mugabe has ruled Zimbabwe with an iron fist. On winning power after British rule, he moved swiftly to extinguish political opposition. Mugabe remains the only leader many Zimbabweans have ever known, with the leader once infamously claiming that only God could remove him from office. But now there is uncertainty over the rule of the world's oldest leader. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Let's get you some more international news now. Here is the World Wrap. The gunman behind a rampage in Northern California in which 4 people were killed was out on bail, charged with stabbing a neighbor. Kevin Lee was on a killing spree on Tuesday, where he shot 14 people in 7 different locations across his rural community before he died in the shootout with police. 10 people, including at least 2 children, were also injured in the incident. British Prime Minister Theresa May has called on MPs from all sides of the political spectrum to come together for delivering talks on Brexit. May also defended her Conservative Party MPs to express their disagreements over the crucial EU withdrawal bill in Parliament. The bill is a key part of the UK government's strategy for leaving the European Union following last year's referendum in favour of Brexit. A Pakistani anti-graft court on Wednesday formally began trial of ousted Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif and his family members in corruption cases to the Panama Papers scandal. The National Accountability Bureau has also presented its affairs to witnesses in the court. The Accountability Court also accepted Sharif's application for exemption from court hearings till 27th of November. Flash floods caused by heavy rains overnight have killed at least 15 people and caused destruction in central Greece. The industrial town of Mandra and Megara have been mostly affected by the deluge. Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras has declared a period of national mourning in the wake of the tragedy. On the sporting action now, the first test match between India and Sri Lanka will take place today at the Eden Gardens in Kolkata. Now, both the teams are looking to perform their best. The Lankans will play 3 tests and as many ODIs and T20s in the long series. Now, this will be the first test of the island nation in India since 2009. The match will start at 9:30 in the morning.
So I think the mindset of winning is very important, and from that you start working on your games and you look forward to playing in difficult conditions. I think if we can embrace playing in difficult conditions, that will be the difference, because we want to be uncomfortable. We want to embrace being uncomfortable, and I think that's the most important thing.
Actually, it was a tough series against them in Sri Lanka, but as a team we have learned a lot from that, and we just need to get the positive out of the last series, and as a unit we are much confident than the last series, especially after winning against Pakistan.
News from the badminton court, and ace players Saina Nehwal and HS Pranoy have entered the round 2 of the singles event at the China Open Super Series Premier Tournament. Now, new national champion Saina Nehwal beat US's Baiwen Zhang in straight games 21-12, 21-13 in the women's singles. She will now take on 5th seed Akane Yamaguchi of Japan today. While in another match, HS Pranoy beat Lee Dong-kyun of Korea 18-21, 21-16, 21-19. Pranoy will now face Lee Chiuk-yu of Hong Kong today. And that's it from me and the entire Breakfast News team at the moment. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day ahead.